All right, we are live tonight. Welcome back. It is Monday, April the 27th. It is Outside In Happy Hour time, and I'm very excited to have a bunch of artists on, some new artists, some that have been on before, but I want everybody to be able to introduce themselves. So we have people from kind of all over tonight, which is great. And so let's get it rolling. Let's start with some of the new faces to our stream. So let's go to Doug Stone. Why don't you tell everybody who you are and where you're calling from and any fun facts that you'd like to share.
Okay. So my name's Doug Stone. I play the saxophone, and I live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I teach at Louisiana State University. And I was just telling everybody that we have a lot of kids on our street here in Baton Rouge. There's actually about 15 kids just on this one block of our street. And the kid across the street today is having his 9th birthday party, and somehow his parents arranged for a fire truck. Of course, right now is when the fire truck is here. So it may get a little loud. We're here, but just know that all the kids are having fun. I have got 4 little kids myself, so they're out there playing. But yeah, I live in Baton Rouge. This is my 2nd year, so I'm kind of finishing up my 4th semester teaching at LSU. And I was in Rochester, New York for a long time before that. And I am originally from Illinois. I lived in Chicago for a while as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Doug. And Tomoko, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Tomoko Omura. I play violin, and I just joined Outside in Music, and I'm releasing my album in the end of August 28th, and very excited about it. And I'm speaking to you from Brooklyn. And we haven't been out, but I have a newborn who's 2 months old, so a lot of things to do, but yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
All right, let's let everybody get a chance here. So Keng, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi everyone. So my name is Kengchakaj, and I play piano. I released an album with Outside in Music last year in November, and a little fun fact of mine is I do have a last name. but you can call me King. Yes, that's all I want to say now.
I love it. Bryan? Sorry, I surprised him.
My name is Bryan Scarborough, and I'm relatively new to the Outside In Music family. I'll be releasing my debut album on Next Level on August 7th, so that is something I've been very excited about. But I am a trombonist, composer, and educator, and I live in Kansas City. So
great.
Yeah, happy to be here tonight.
Excellent. Let's stay on the trombone train. Let's go to Seth.
Hi, everybody. My name's Seth Weaver, and I live in New York City, and I'm also a trombone player, and I have a big band, and we just released our first album a month ago today, actually, I think. Today's the 27th, yeah. And so I'm brand new with Outside Music as well, and glad to be here tonight.
Excellent. Pete and Will, whoever wants to jump in.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name's Peter Anderson. I'm a saxophonist and clarinetist. My brother and I just released a new album on Outside In Music this month, featuring Dave Wong, Jeb Patton, and Jimmy Cobb, and it has a lot of original music and standards on it. And just really thrilled to be in this community on this label with all these other great artists. And this is a strange time we're all going through right now. No one's got any gigs, and we're having to find new ways to get out, get our music out there by doing videos and podcasts like this and things like that. So, looking forward to talking about all that stuff tonight.
Excellent. Will?
Cool. So I am the twin brother of Peter. So we're identical twins. I know we look similar, but I've decided to grow out a bit of a beard.
Nice.
I can see I'm not the only one. So Seth, found it.
Found it.
Yes. Yeah, we've known Nick Finzer for a while. We went to school together, but we're new to the Outside In family, and like my brother mentioned, we're in the midst of about to release a quintet album. So we're excited to be here, and I'm excited to see some new faces and learn some new things.
Awesome. So for those that are watching live on the various channels, feel free. I finally figured out how to get all the chats to come into one place, so I can actually see the chats as they come in. So if people want to ask questions to anybody, do feel free to do so. And if anybody wants to steer the conversation in a certain way, feel free to do so. But otherwise I'll ask annoying questions until we're done. Sure. But I think, Pete kind of brought up something that I was thinking about, and kind of what everyone's thinking about kind of these days, especially. I mean, things maybe could start to change, reopen in the next month or so, 2 months, whatever, depending on where you are. But gigs seem to still be canceled and falling, and camps and all the different fun summer things that we usually look forward to are kind of, at least for me, starting to disappear. Even the last holdouts are starting to kind of fall. So I'm wondering what everyone's doing to try to come up with new ways of connecting with, musicians or their fans, or what have you guys been doing? Other podcasts or doing live streams, or I don't know. What have people been doing to kind of fill up their creative time and thinking about doing starting this summer or whenever the gigs don't come back?
Yeah. I think, Nick, that is has been kind of a really fascinating feeling for me, that everything is canceled. All the stuff that I fill up my time with, I find, probably as most of us do, that my normal life is just busy, running around from one thing to the next. And I've always kind of found that I tend to be the most productive when I'm really busy. When there's a lot of stuff going on, that's when I'm like for some reason I think you're kind of just flowing and your ideas come, and it's easy to kind of have some output. Mm-hmm. So my first thinking in this type of situation would be that I would have been worried about, how that is going to translate when there's nothing going on. Now, I imagine, maybe unique to most of you, I have 4 little kids right now. My oldest is 8 and my youngest is 3 months old. And so, interestingly enough, I found that I almost feel more busy not going out, because there's just responsibilities around the house and things that I might have normally just kind of, my wife would have had to take care of with me gone, and, doing different things, or even going to camps in the summer, that I'm having to balance that with some of my other creative activities. So in some ways, I've actually felt more busy over this time than I normally do when I'm working. However, so that is interesting. And then also that I've found that some things that maybe I would have just thought about, and actually a lot of things that I've been inspired to do, seeing things that you're doing, Nick, and some of the offerings that Outside In has, I've started to kind of turn my focus in that direction. And so I find that I'm posting a little bit more on social media. There's things like this that come up. I did a solo. I know, Nick, you did a performance workshop for the Fayetteville, Arkansas Jazz Festival last weekend, and I had put that together, and then, we recorded that, and then that was released, and so there was, and then there was the live stream of that, so I wanted to be present for that and answering questions on the chat, and, this type of thing comes up. I have a podcast that I've been kind of trying to do, Tenor Talk, where I just kind of hang and talk with tenor players about, just kind of like a hang or a conversation you'd have if you were on the break
talking about
at a gig or something. What's that?
Just talking about reeds? Is that what you guys do?
Yeah, exactly. And interestingly enough, we have not talked about equipment. I've probably done about 20 interviews, and I definitely was kind of looking forward to the shop talk.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
It's true. You got to check them out, man. I'll send you the transcripts. You can search it out. but I've been able to do, some interviews there. And I find that my days are really kind of booked, and some of the projects and things that I would like to do, I'm going to have to kind of work towards getting those done. It's also made me think, I do a lot of teaching, and I've thought about, some ways to maybe market or monetize some of the teaching stuff that I normally do face-to-face.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe this is the opportunity where over the summer, I've had 3 weeks of camps canceled, and I was going to do some summer teaching here and that, and so I really kind of have a plan to try and get on top of some of that. But I find that I've had to be just as organized with my time if I'm going to get anything done, even in this situation. Now, if I wasn't in the house with 5 other people, maybe that would be different. But for me, and my last point here is that I have also been really fascinated to see I think even the quality of the things people are doing online has improved over the last few weeks. Like, going from just like people jamming in their bedrooms, to, creating some content that I think a lot of musicians have found better ways to have higher quality and engaging online material, because, man, we've taken away everything that we naturally do, which is interacting with people, feeling, what's happening as we're playing, and even with teaching. I mean, I feel the room just as much when I'm teaching, as if not more, than I do when I'm performing. And so having to, you got to kind of find creative ways to use the resources we have, which I think musicians are good at historically.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So what have you guys? What about anybody else?
Well, actually, one thing that my brother and I just did, actually we put it up a couple days ago, but we compiled about 150 transcribed solos and put them up all on our website. As of now, it's all free. I'm not sure if that was the right decision or not, but we, over the years, the two of us have just kind of amassed like a big collection of transcribed solos. So we thought, let's put them out to the world, and so educators and students and our friends can access them, and we might make it kind of collaborative so people can add to it and then make it even bigger.
Oh, nice.
But it was fun. So that's something
website?
recent.
Where can people find it?
Oh, our website, peterandwillanderson.com.
And then what is it, the page called, so people can go
It's
and steal all your...
/solos.
/solos. Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That was pretty fun. I don't know what you all do for transcribed solos. Do you write them out and give them to your students, or do you just have your students do them, or be interested to see what you guys do?
I don't think I very frequently provide the students with the transcriptions. And I would love to say that all the students I've taught have really been on their game and learned new transcriptions all the time. But honestly, in terms of teaching, I recycle. There's a body of transcriptions that I want my various students to do. And I don't, if I get a student that gets to the point where they're doing a new transcription, that would be great. I would love to see one that I haven't done, that they're working on.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the just to chime in a little bit about the transcriptions, I've learned through doing this whole project with me and my brother, a lot of the transcriptions that you'll find, online or in books are wrong. And once you get to a certain level, like everyone on this call, when you're professional and you're recording and performing and stuff, once you the Omni book is a Charlie Parker book that I grew up playing, and I recently went back to it, and man, there's a lot of wrong notes in there. Another thing is all the solos are written with no sharps or flats in the key signature. So if the tune has 3 flats in it, there's no accidentals. So it just makes it very frustrating to read. So at the very least, what we're trying to do by putting out these solos is at least provide some accurate transcriptions that people can sight read, and that aren't incorrect.
Right.
So at the very least, I think it's good sight reading practice. Even if you're gonna require your students to do their transcriptions themselves, that's good. But if you're not looking to transcribe and you're just looking to get some sight reading practice, they're good for that.
And I've always thought it's a balance of that. Like sometimes the students just need to get into the vocabulary. There's been plenty of transcriptions that as I was growing up, I just read them out of books a lot. I can remember, just for 6 weeks playing the same transcription. I wasn't doing any of the right stuff. I wasn't trying to memorize it or, draw any vocabulary or anything like that. But I just played along with it. And, that type of resource, if you guys have 150 transcriptions, I mean, just playing one of those a day, just to play it, just to get the kind of the sounds in your head and under your fingers, I think that's an amazing resource.
Definitely.
Yeah, I like to write down my transcriptions. I've got a queue of, I don't know how many, 30 to 40 of them on my website. And most of them are all trombone solos, but there's a couple others. And I find that they're good reading materials, and it's always interesting if you take it to a jazz camp and that's your sight reading is a JJ solo, and you can kind of know not only can they read, but does the light go off and I know this. I've heard this. So, but yeah, I know there seems to be a divide of some people say, you only learn your solos by memory, and some people say, write them down, and I think just do both. I think that's the best balance of it all is write them down. It's good practice to notate everything, and if you can do them by hand just to see if you can make it clear and everything. But then learn the next one by memory, and then maybe in a month try to write it down from memory and see if you can do that. But yeah, I just think they're great educational tools too for being able to give out at camps and things and really illustrate, this is how they're outlining the chords. Something that, again, I think students, at least I would have had a hard time when I was in high school or maybe, around early high school years, identifying, they're outlining, 9, 3, 5, 7, 9, whatever. But when you see it on paper, it's like, that all of a sudden makes sense. So that's stuff that I think helps just make it a little bit more concrete, because improvisation is so conceptual and people learn in so many different ways. So,
yes. Speaking of mistakes and transcriptions, I went back recently and looked at when I was in high school. I did like 15 J.J. Johnson solo transcriptions, and the amount of mistakes in those 15 transcriptions is pretty unbelievable. But I have a couple students that I try to pick a solo that really helps whatever my student needs to work on, kind of have all those things in there. Like I have a student who's working on mainly just his swing feel overall. So I try to pick a solo that really shows that in a really clear way, so he can work on that specific thing and kind of like customize whatever the student needs and pick a solo based on that. It's been pretty useful.
Nice.
I also think a good thing about what you're saying too, that you can show your students now that you've gone back with those 15, is that you can say, when I was in high school, my ear caught this stuff in this way. And as I've grown and developed, now I'm able to go back and I'm hearing these things in a completely different way. And now I think that's a really neat thing to show students.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'd love to hear from Tomoko and Kang. We haven't heard yet. What have you been up to I know these last few weeks, months,
okay.
years? How long has it been?
Tomoko, you can go first.
Okay. Well, I'm very busy with like playing with different groups and, always trying to keep up with the next thing and playing gigs. But lately, because we don't perform, then I I realized that I have unreleased live videos. So I've been editing those live videos, and probably I didn't have a chance to look at it and edit and release it in general because I'm too busy. And, I'm hoping the next, live show, I would maybe like it more. So maybe I release then. So I've been kind of not releasing my performance videos so much, but this is a great, time to share the past performances. So I'm actually releasing the live videos in May for like every Fridays. And
Nice.
I'm excited
Awesome.
to do that. Yeah, like we tend to forget, like, actually you can do that, but we are so busy with like playing gigs, like live shows,
Yeah.
and play for certain numbers of audience. But if you post it, the audience is everywhere. So that's I think that's a good thing to do now, and I'm excited. And also I have like a solo violin concert in the end of May. Actually, I can go to this venue. It's called Soapbox Gallery in Brooklyn, and they have a great sounding room, but it's a solo, so it's not really breaking the rule of social distancing. And they are doing the streaming thing, so it's a very cool thing.
Oh, nice. I didn't know they were doing that. That's super cool.
Yeah.
When is that going to be?
It's on May 27th.
Nice.
Awesome.
Excellent. I'm glad to know about that. And Kang, what have you been up to? I saw some video you made on Max MSP, and I was going to ask you.
Yeah. So for me, for some reason, I've been less active on the social media because I guess I was like in the cave right now, doing thousands of different things, learning new things every day, and trying to figure it out. How can I make music in a way that I never done before? And that's pretty much it. And also similar to Tomoko, I'm releasing like an old recording of the performance in the past too. I'm premiering one tonight, actually.
Yay!
Yes, it's a Thai standard, which is called Sneha, and it's a live recording video from the album released back in December before I went off for an Asia tour. And then coming back, hopefully for a US tour, and it's all canceled. So here we are now. That's pretty much it for me.
Where's that video? Is it on your YouTube or your Facebook? Where's the video?
It's going to be on my YouTube, and also I just post something on Facebook that I'm going to be premiering this. And I'm probably going to post it again when it's live on YouTube. Sure. Yeah.
Excellent.
And my name's spelled Kengchakaj.
Yeah, luckily it's actually it's right on your little square, so people can see it.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So
I didn't know if that was real or not, but now we know. Okay.
Now we know. Except for Doug's. Doug says his wife's name.
Yeah, sorry. She's a photographer, so
So, hey,
maybe she'll get some hits off of this.
So, what have you guys been doing to stay sane? I don't know if this is necessarily sane, but for me, I decided on Saturday that I was just going to try to run my first half marathon. So I did that just out of the blue. So that was I'm trying to push myself to do things that I wouldn't normally do. And I've always thought like, hey, why would you run for that long? That's a really long time. I was like, oh, well, I guess I have time right now. I don't have to do anything. So, but what else have you guys been up to? Have you been watching anything, reading anything, any stuff you want to share? I know somebody's trying to jump in. Yeah, Seth.
Yeah. Well, the room behind me actually, at my in-laws in Millbrook, the Millbrook area, and she wanted to redo this whole room, and so now they have a tremendous amount of time. We ended up pulling up the carpet, and we painted all the walls, and took out the doors, and we're basically renovating half their house. Doing a little bit each
just
day.
Out of nowhere. That's great.
So this is brand new as of this morning.
Oh, wow.
The purple color. So we've done that. But it's been nice to have something other than the music to keep up my time, because I do have so much time to write and practice and shed, and it's nice to have at least to do something else and that you accomplish something that's not music related. So that's been really grounding to me.
I've just noticed that all of the yards in my neighborhood are immaculate.
Immaculate, yeah.
You know,
Yours too?
I think a lot of people are spending a lot of time on landscaping activities.
Are you as well?
My yard looks good too.
Okay,
you know?
all right. You got like a
I
crosshatch
keep up with the
pattern?
Joneses. I haven't gotten that far. No.
Get the scissors, getting out there to make sure it's
There's
all
always a diaper to change. Yeah. I send my kids to do that.
There you go.
There you go.
I watched a movie the other night that it's been on my list for a while, and I finally got around to it. Whiplash.
Oh.
Yeah.
I still have
controversial.
And I was kind of avoiding it just because I was like, that's for non-musicians, you know. But I have to say, I actually liked it. I mean, obviously it was over the top, but I thought as a general movie, it was kind of fun. So I don't think I'm getting a vibe like no one else liked it. So maybe
I've not seen it.
No, didn't see it.
I didn't like it.
Tomoko didn't like it? So why didn't you like it, Tomoko?
Well, I don't know. I didn't experience that at jazz school, and I had such a positive experience that like it was kind of wrong thing to put that as like a default jazz school. What happens, you know? It was, but I mean, it's interesting, definitely to watch it. But it was kind of negative view towards the jazz academy, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder like if it's really happened in, I don't know, in the school ever really happened, or it's just like a portrait of, I don't know.
I mean, I didn't see it, but I think I've almost yelled at my students before.
Okay.
Just almost, right?
Almost. I never went all the way there.
Yeah. Fletcher, who's the teacher in the film, he does a little bit more than yell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard that they kind of modeled his character off of Buddy Rich. Because there are all these tapes of Buddy Rich going off on his musicians. So I think they might have even pulled some like verbatim kind of lines. But I thought it was fun. I went in knowing it was going to be a little ridiculous, but I thought it was fun.
Wow, I'm surprised that got brought up in conversation tonight.
Yeah.
I thought Whiplash I thought it was buried in the past.
It's old news. It's old news. Yeah, whenever when the movie was like hot in the press, I did a few shows with Kenny Washington, and I would always like introduce him and say, you know, he's a teacher and just think Whiplash, and you know that's Kenny. So he didn't appreciate that very much.
I was teaching at a urban public school in Rochester, New York at the time that movie came out, and I definitely have been accused of being that guy. But I think hopefully tongue in cheek.
You're so nice, Doug.
Yeah, well, I had bad days.
Oh man, I guess we all do. So, Kang, you didn't actually answer my question. I really wanted to know what you were doing with Max MSP. I was actually interested.
Yes. So it's one thing that keeps me sane is like learning new things, right? So I've been interested in this electronic music and also like working with Max MSP, and so I started this Cadence website course about Max MSP, and I've it's been 3 sessions, and the Max MSP patch that I posted, that's like was like kind of like an extension of the assignment that they giving us to do. So I was like using just the sampling sample. So I've been practicing this Matt Mitchell piece called Veins, and it's kind of like 12 tone and pretty like hard interval, like larger interval that I never play. So I've been practicing that, and I sampled that into smaller pieces, and I put it in Max MSP, and I even play back the sample even smaller, so it have like kind of a smaller grain, and it somehow make that kind of ambient sound that you all hear in the clip. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been curious about it. I've never tried to use it, but I've been curious.
And so the next small project of Max MSP, I'm gonna use a kind of like a Thai tuning that we talked about last time, and use that and make the kind of similar music with that patch that I make, and let's see what happens. I haven't really sampling anything yet, and I haven't tuned my piano into the Thai tuning.
I was going to ask you.
But I think I did a pretty good job tuning my own piano, so so I guess that's a success.
Nice.
Wait, is that a different kind of tuning?
Yeah, so it's so the Thai tuning have 7. It's a scale that have 7 tones, and that's it. So supposedly it's supposed to be 7 what do you call, like, equal.
Oh, so the octave is divided by 7?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it actually sounds similar to Dorian or Mixolydian, which is kind of the main flavor that I've been using to write my own music, and also like write the Thai flavor music but now I'm just gonna wanna go even deeper with that kind of tuning system, and just like, okay, let's see if I retune my piano into that Thai tuning system, or if I tune my if I tune my synthesizer into that kind of thing, or if I use sampling that derive from that tuning, or if I use sampling from a real Thai instrument, how that's gonna sound, and how am I gonna be able to create a creative music out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward. I'm looking forward to hearing that when you figure
Me
that
too.
out.
It's maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. So I'm curious. I'm sure a lot of you all are doing new things online, and I wonder if anybody has any suggestions, things they've figured out in terms of either streaming or teaching online, or any strategies that they might want to share with any musicians or students that have started doing this stuff. I have a feeling, people are going to, it's not just going to go away. I feel like it's going to be only become more of an extension of what we do.
I've actually, like both my brother and I have been working on building our YouTube channel. And one of the reasons I got inspired was from your YouTube channel, Nick. I mean, YouTube's a really cool resource because you get subscribers, and they stay with you. So once someone subscribes to your channel and wants to see your content, you maintain that subscriber. So it's kind of a good cumulative way of building followers and then maintaining them, which is really key, because once you build up a lot of people who are interested in your content, you could wait a month and then release a new video and they all see it. And so when you go into YouTube and you check out all the analytics and view count, there's so much you can do to maximize your potential of people subscribing to you and getting more likes and views and comments and this sort of thing. I mean, it's a whole science in itself, but it is a really good resource for getting your music out there. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you guys have been getting.
Can I ask Peter a question about that?
Sure.
Do you? So I am not. I've never really been overly involved or interested in that type of marketing of myself, or the thinking about things in that way. And it's kind of a weakness or a area that I am kind of aware of, and so I just do what I do in the day. If I've got a gig, I'm going to go do that gig. Now I will maybe throw on a live stream on Facebook or something every once in a while, or I will use the resources a little bit, but never as deeply as you're talking about, going in and looking at how to maximize this and monetize it, or turn it into
yeah.
Do you feel like without this time you would have ended up digging this deeply into your YouTube channel?
Probably not. I mean, one thing I've noticed is because I'm looking at the number of views and subscribers that we're getting in the past month, it's way up from what it usually is, which is obvious because people are at home. They're looking for stimulation. They can't go to concerts and comedy clubs and hangouts and sort of things. So they're on YouTube. So we have noticed that our views and comments and subscribers have been increasing more than usual. I think it's like this time is a time where artists we need to keep our audiences engaged, because when this wears off and we can start playing live again, all those fans that we built up, we don't want to lose them. So I think that's the biggest reason why you see artists doing videos and live streams and this sort of thing, because they know it's a competitive field. It's, in this market we're in, and all the support that you've built up can be lost over this kind of dead zone of 6 months or a year that we're not going to be able to connect with our fans. So one of the things my brother and I have been working on is kind of like using our different social medias to kind of cross support each other. So, if we support our YouTube channel on Facebook, we can draw supporters from Facebook over YouTube, or maybe we can do an email blast to our email list, tell people to like us on Facebook or whatever. So kind of build up the list and allow them to help each other.
I would not mind asking one other question of the group, Nick. If you can cut me off, man. You're the boss.
Shut up, Doug.
Mute.
I'm taking over. Yeah. Well, it doesn't even say my name anyway, so
I'll just be talking, and nobody will know that he won't stop.
Okay. So I would be interested to know if something recently that somebody trying to make nice content. I saw something and I thought, man, that I don't know if the quality is at the level that I would. If this was a live performance, I would not be impressed with the quality. I would almost feel like I don't know if this should have been put out there. And I'm wondering if everybody's thoughts on, could there be negative consequences to all that everyone's trying to do at this time? Like, what would be the potential pitfalls of having so much of our content be transferred to this, one-dimensional thing?
Yeah. I mean, one thing is, on the internet, to get attention, all you need to get is a click. It's like the critique of mainstream media. If you make the headline as egregious as possible, you get a click. But when you're at a concert, you need to entertain someone for 2 hours straight. So you really have to create a quality product. Whereas the internet, you can create like 5 seconds of something that's really attractive, and then everything after that can be nonsense. So I think that's a good point you're making. I haven't really thought about that as much.
Yeah, I remember a while ago, I was maybe in high school, or when social media was kind of on the rise, maybe it was college. And I just heard somebody, they were talking about, people that create content and things. And the comment that stuck with me was, someday you're going to have to be what you tell everyone you are. Mm. So you can make all this content, and yeah, it might be short clips and things, but and it may build up a following, but at some point there's going to be a concert with 1,000 people or a big lecture or something. And, it's going to come out whether you're, whether you can hang or not. So that was always something that stuck with me. And just that phrase, and I think about it regularly, even, in times where we're not in quarantine and you see content and, you see things like Nick's and you're like, man, this stuff is amazing.
Right.
And then you see something else and you're like, man, it's not even close. Like, so, it's just, it's definitely something to think about before you hit, upload.
Right when this all happened, I felt the pressure like, I want to put something out there, So I just played a tune into my phone like everybody does, And then it started banging away, getting so many views. And I must have listened to it back 15 times. And I was like, man, this just sucks. Like, why did I do this? And I took a good, a couple of weeks where I said, man, I need to rethink this because I think maybe Pete said, more people are looking right now. And what do I want this content to be? I love that idea of, can it, what the quote, Bryan, you might have to say the quote again, but, are you actually as good as your little headline is demonstrating? And, that's made me think.
What you tell people you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that I've been doing recently is just spending like an hour at the beginning of the week kind of planning what I'm going to post the whole week. And that's been super helpful for me because I don't know about everyone else, but some days I'll spend hours trying to think of what I'm going to post this day, and I'll try to all these different things. And by the end of the day, I'm like, okay, well, nothing really worked out. So just not going to post anything today. But with the scheduling that I've been doing, it's been really helpful to have like a really solid plan and kind of mix things up and not just post the similar things each day. And I've been trying to mix things up in that way. And it's helped me stay off social media more so that I just have, be really productive and then get off of it. And it saves me a lot of time doing that for the past couple weeks.
Yeah, I like the scheduling, and then I do my website through Squarespace, and then you can do like the push to the channels.
Right.
Something I just recently figured out about, and like once I figured I can do a bunch of things and then schedule them to go out and then not think about it. It's like, this is amazing. I never knew this. So that's definitely something that, if there's people listening that are interested in that sort of thing, definitely worth checking out.
For sure.
Yeah, I was just having this same conversation with one of my students who's graduating. Graduating this semester. And we were talking about, he's like, I don't want to put out things on social media because I see, I'm not going to say any names. I see such and such doing this and such doing that. And I don't like how he does this and I don't like how she does that and blah, blah, blah. And so I gave him the exact advice, that you have to plan out what you're going to do and you have to make it, you have to make it so that it's easy. Because if it's hard, you're not going to do it, So like putting out, it's hard to make time to do it. And then you end up doing what Doug did and just play something into your phone and you put it up. But if you play a whole bunch of stuff into your phone and then a week later you go back and say, oh yeah, I was going to post one of these things I did, then you can be like, oh wait, this 30 seconds is actually okay. I'll post that part. That's what that happens to me. I'm like, oh, all this sucks. Let me just delete all this. Nobody's going to see this. That's for sure. But, the content scheduling is a game changer. And I agree. It keeps you off of social media because you're not searching around to like figure out what to post because you're just like, all right, posted, closing this app, going back to the Tiger King or whatever.
Painting. Lots of painting.
I think another fascinating thing about all of this too is, Nick, I feel like you are one of the people I know who is, you and your team at Outside In, you're very knowledgeable and have done the research and have something, at some point the bug of, let me figure out how to do this and work in this kind of realm has bitten you and you've been able to go after that. I always tell people when you're 19 years old in the practice room at college, in terms of being a teacher, you're not thinking about, man, I'm going to learn this solo so I can just teach the crap out of this thing someday. Like nobody thinks like that. And definitely, I think, for most of us as musicians, these utilizing these resources, I mean, this is not our main field. Marketing, we did not study when we were learning our J.J. Johnson solos. We weren't thinking about, we weren't taking a marketing class on the side. We were one tracked in how can we be the best possible musicians we can be. Mm-hmm. And, but for everyone, and I think this probably goes back to the early days of this music, that ends up becoming part of what musicians need to do and have to do if we're, especially now in this era of kind of do-it-yourself marketing. And so Bryan's, discovery there is interesting. And even like the Andersons with this YouTube thing, but we're all having to kind of dig around for ourselves to find what works the best and do all this research. And so, of course, it's great to be associated with you and Outside In and all these people who are doing this. But, it can seem daunting and overwhelming, like for your student of, I got to do what? I got to schedule out social media posts? Man, what's this have to do with, playing blues in all 12 keys, Because it's all hard. It's all equally as hard,
I think the other thing is, at least for me, something that's kind of become clearer the last few months is, in regards to thinking about this, but also just creating materials in general, is just like anything, you have to find your voice and your thing. And I think that's a step that maybe people skip as well. I feel like that is something that's become clear for me, of the things that I like and what I like to spend my time with, and whether that's going to be, print books instead of, blog posts, and how I'm going to deal with that information, how you want to do it, to fit whatever you're trying to do. But just what feels right, what's organic for you as a content creator, but something that you're passionate about. And that's something that comes through with people that are great content creators too. It's, it's clear that they're not just creating content. They have a vision and they're passionate about that vision. And I think, again, when you've come across somebody's material that is just content, that stands out too. Cause it's like, well, it just feels like you're just putting out stuff just to do it. But finding your voice, just like we do in music and everything, I think it relates here as well. So,
for sure, and I think it's just, you don't have to do it. I don't necessarily think you have to do it, but you're making a choice. If you don't do it, that you're not going to be in the place where people are looking for stuff. That's how I look at it. It's like people are on Instagram looking for stuff, and if you're not there, then they're not going to find you. They'll find some Joe Schmo who can't play the trombone, and he's like farting into the horn, and you're like, well, okay, great. Well, I'll put at least something out there that's different than that. But I don't want to take too much advantage of everyone's time, so I want to give everybody a chance to let people know about where they can find your music and what you're working on and your projects and all this stuff. So I'd love for everybody to go around one more time and just say your website or your Instagram or wherever you want to send people, and what's coming up, where they can look for your stuff. I know some people very soon, some people in a couple of months, so let's let everyone know where they can find your stuff. So let's start with Tomoko, and let us know, when's the record coming out? Where can people find your stuff? Where are they going to find your videos and all that?
Sure. My album is coming out in August 28th, Friday. Mm-hmm. The title is Branches. I can't say the title, right? Okay. The title is Branches, Volume 1. I recorded a lot of songs and ended up not fitting in. I mean, it was too long to put it in one album, so I'm releasing 2 volumes, and one of them is coming out. And via Outside In Music, and also my website is tomokoomura.com. And along with that, I will be releasing a lot of videos and some music videos from the album. And I'll be posting on my YouTube channel, which is Tomoko Omura Videos. Very excited.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being here. Kang?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
So you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
All of the places.
Just by one handle, which is Kengchakaj, Kengchakaj. I have released my debut album on Next Level Outside in Music last November, and I'm working on new music every day, which I'm looking forward to do more, and hopefully I can post something more. And yes, tonight I'm premiering Snehar live version from the Rockwood Music Hall, and yeah, hope to see you there. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Seth?
Yeah, I released my debut album 1 month ago tonight. It's called Truth, and it's 8 big band compositions that I've been working on for the past few years. And you can find all of my stuff at Seth Weaver Music on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. And thanks again, Nick, for having me. Great talking to all of y'all.
Pete and Will? Sorry, I don't mean to always group you together, but
Yes. Thanks to Nick for doing all these amazing sessions. It's really a joy to get to talk to all of you and meet you and hear what you're doing. And my brother and I are releasing our first record on Outside In on May 19th, and we're thrilled to be part of the family. So thanks, and hope to be back again soon.
For sure. Will, anything to add?
Not really. Our next album is going to be a tribute to Whiplash. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Bryan?
That's what's to come.
Yeah, right. Bryan, you want to sign off here?
Yeah. Again, my debut album is coming out August 7th, and that is titled Sunflower Song. I also have a jazz etude project I'm doing, and you can find information about that at my website and on Facebook, BryanScarboroughMusic.com and Bryan Scarborough Music on Facebook. And I have another new kind of educational series that I'm starting in quarantine that I'm hoping to get started. The first one is written. It just requires just a little bit of editing, so hopefully to have that up on the website and Facebook soon. And I also am working on a research project. It's so you may see, and this would be for trombone players, but a Google survey or something posted on my website, Facebook, and trying to get that shared around, kind of a data collection, and just kind of the start of a big project. But with this time, I'm gonna dive into it. So
nice.
So excited about all that. Excited to be part of the Outside In family, and nice to meet you all. So
is what's your website? Did you say it?
Yeah, it's www.bryanscarboroughmusic.com, and then on Facebook, facebook.com/Bryan Scarborough Music.
Cool. And Doug?
Okay, so I had a record come out on Outside In back in January called Motion, and it features some of my buddies from Rochester, New York, friends of Nick's, and so that's available everywhere, streaming and hard copies. So my website is DougStoneJazz.com, and I'm on Instagram at DougStoneJazzSaxophone, and on Facebook as well. I also have started a podcast. I release just a half an hour talk with different tenor saxophone playing friends of mine every Monday, and that podcast is called Tenor Talk. And you can find that on my website, DougStoneJazz.com, as well as wherever you get your podcasts. And that's been a fun project. And just being associated with Nick and Outside In and people like you, I definitely have some plans of things in the future, especially trying to get some music recorded with some guys here in the southeastern Louisiana and New Orleans area that I've been playing with a lot. And so, yeah, thanks for doing this, Nick. This is really cool, really fun. Great to meet everybody.
Excellent. Well, thank you all so much for being here. I won't take up any more of your time. Please check out all of their websites. Lots of great music coming your way this month and all summer long and in the future. So thank you all, and we'll catch you next time.
Cool.
See ya.
Thank you. Thanks, Nick.